One time, just for fun, I thought it'd be great to make a silly little short where I went outside and dunked my old Mosasaurus toy around in a kiddie pool.
You want that money, Lebowski? Bunny says you're good for it. Here's the fucking money, shithead!
It's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Well, that silly little video ended up getting 350k views. That makes it the 6th most viewed video on my channel. I guess it's about time for a sequel. Yes, as always, Gary the Gremlin here, but I can't deal with that now because today marks the long-awaited return of the killer fish, the Jurassic World Rebirth Biden Blast Mosasaurus. Thought I should let you know, however, YouTube just implemented a new policy. The video, yeah, all that runtime that it shows right there, it won't keep going unless you like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, crazy, right? No, don't look, that bar is not moving, you're just confused. Okay, great, thank you. Now that you've liked, we can keep going. This toy instantly stuck out to me among the Jurassic World Rebirth toys from Mattel for being so fresh and new and exciting looking. No dilly-dallying or preamble to the video today, let's get straight into this fishy feast of a figure. I really love this giant open floor plan of a box. It's great to see so much of the figure, and I like how it's naturally resting thrust upwards, almost like a whale breaching the surface of the ocean. Or, well, you know, like a whale-sized lizard. I also really like how this box looks a bit different than the rest. It's just ever so much more aquatic looking than the other boxes, and the red, gray, and black perfectly capture the look of one of the most prominent set pieces in the film, Duncan Kincaid's boat, the Essex. Overall, I found Jurassic World Rebirth rather disappointing, but the Mosasaurus sea chase was one of the most exciting parts. Talking about the actual toy, however, there is some really weird box art here. This isn't actually important at all, I just keep seeing it and I feel like I have to say something about it. I hate this artwork of the Rebirth Mosasaurus that's been showing up everywhere. It looks a little strangely proportioned and ugly, but the glaringly obvious worst part is this Glasgow smile that's been carved into his jaw.
Let's put a smile on that face.
It looks like it's somehow hinging its skull open at the completely wrong part, just ugh. Not a big deal, just an oddity. What should probably be a bigger deal is how they completely spelled the name wrong here on the box. Why is it spelled like this? We all know it's really the Biden Blast Mosasaurus. We'll get into that later. Hold your horses. First, let's open this beautiful box presentation so I can take it and throw it in my recycling. The big bastard assembles with a click in on the tail and boom bam, you're done, Mosasaurus. Well, except for the fins. The flippers for the right side of his body, or I mean his left side. My right side. Well, you know what I mean. You gotta put those paddles in, damn it. Can't forget his little bite-sized buddy, the adorable little included Dilophosaurus. He's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Isn't this Mosasaurus design near perfection? I am smitten. I promised none of that patented Gary the Gremlin rambling, but unfortunately the other constant Gary the Gremlin theme is lying, and the third one is paleo accuracy. So we will be doing a rant. I'm just so darn happy with this redesign of the Jurassic World Mosasaurus. Quick question, however, is this a redesign? Well, obviously it is. For one, it's green now.
Hi.
But what I actually mean to say is a totally different question. Is this supposed to be the exact same Mosasaurus we've seen in the previous 3 Jurassic World movies? I was inclined to believe the sensical conclusion, that this is a different version of the Mosasaur that the Maserati Corporation or InGen or whoever you believe in created sometime before or during Jurassic World, and for some reason, we never saw it until now. But then there was one line in the movie that stumped me. Now, of course, the inclusion of that line doesn't really negate the first point. It's still totally possible that InGen made 2 Mosasaurus, and we've never heard about the first one for some reason, and never seen it, and yeah, it was just hanging around off-screen behind that curtain, doing nothing, maybe playing cards. Same as there was totally some guy who was Hammond's best friend / roommate / lover named Benji Lockwood, and he was there since the first movie, totally. I might just be a simple country boy, but at a certain point, this all starts to feel a little too convenient. Whatever the reason, whoever's to blame, there's a new Mosasaurus design and it's better than the previous one by a long shot. No hate to that original design, it's alright. But this one is just so much cooler. Hear me out. The OG JW Mosa has a somewhat confused design. Well, first off, it's larger than a blue whale, which is a little nuts considering that the real Mosasaurus was like 50 feet long. That's beside the point though, because every Jurassic World dinosaur is the wrong size. We know this, we've been knowing this forever. But in line with that whale-like size, the Mosa also picked up a whale-like shape, and along the ride, also some very crocodilian scales and scutes. This all makes sense from a Hollywood design standpoint. Make it bigger, give it more teeth, sure, but from a realistic standpoint, it's actually heading the wrong way. Fun fact! As one of the giant, extinct marine reptiles, Mosasaurus still has some distant relatives alive today. The reptiles. Duh. The actual closest of these living reptiles is debated, but it's certainly either the monitor lizards or snakes, and definitely not the super scooty crocodilians. As such, we would expect to see traits common to these animals in the Mosasaurus, i.e. no whale shape or crocodile scales, and instead features like forked tongues, smooth scales, and a more streamlined, skinty body shape. That's why I love this new maritime monster so much. Whoever was designing this was cooking. This is the perfect kind of Jurassic World design. Oversized and nonsense in a fun way, with features that are more paleo accurate. It's really just the absence of crocodile scales that makes this one look so much better. Instead, it trades out those ridges for what seem to be these large ossified scales that run in long rows down the length of the body. There's a lot of really great detail here. The wrinkled folds of skin are scattered with various scars and marks, as well as dotted by the occasional large scale or what even seem to be barnacles. I'm always so amazed by the level of detail some of the mainline figures are able to achieve. It's sometimes just on par with the more collector-focused lines. Another thing that makes this rendition look a little better is the head. I just think it looks so much better with the jaws being able to properly close, and with just a little bit more of a pronounced difference between the head and the body. That original real feel Mosa has got no definition between where the head ends and the body begins, owed to that very whale-like body. While Rebirth's Big M is still very teardrop shaped, it's a lot better and a lot more visually pleasing. Thank God the tail doesn't stick up at a 45-degree angle like the real feel version. That is the biggest and most refreshing change on this toy. Hey, I'm not a hater, okay? I don't exist on this earth to spread negativity, and I don't hate the real feel Mosasaurus. Me and him are still on speaking terms, and I'd consider us friends. It's in many ways one of the most monumental moments in my collecting journey. It was for a long time the largest toy I had. But show me a man who can with a straight face tell you the real feel version is a better toy, and I'll show you an amazing liar and suggest you never play a round of poker with him. Rebirth tops Fallen Kingdom. Am I talking about the movie or the toy Mosasaurus? Well, both. I really love the new color scheme. It's so refreshing and lively. It might not make as much sense as the blue and white color scheme, but it looks so much better in my opinion. The figure has so many paint apps to capture that amazing color scheme, which might be my favorite thing about it. Even painted my nails to match. It's giving military vibes with the camo green, brown, and gray, but then that splash of creamish white underbelly brings it all together in a magnificent way. I love the splotchy nature of all the different colors and how they fade as it goes across the body. Even the tips of the flippers got attention with some dark brown, as well as the inside of the mouth, which has a nice gloss coat. Now, I mentioned the tongue earlier, and unfortunately, this one is not forked. I think I accidentally implied that, but it's not the case. Considering that that's speculative information gleaned from close relatives, I guess it's okay that it's not here, but I still would have loved it. The jaws here are being held open with a toothpick, by the way. This is my preferred method for implementing a biting gimmick. I think default closed and then press a button to open is best. We'll talk more about the gimmick in a second. Keep holding that horse. He's got his freaky little tonsil stone teeth back in there though. Love this. They have some science name I'm too cool to remember, I'll put it here. Paleontologists theorize that this was to help them better process large prey, but I know from experience that it was actually there to make him one hell of a kisser. And it's due to these rubber teeth that kissing him isn't even painful at all.
Stop. What do you mean by that?
I love these rubber teeth, and I love how they've become standard for the entire line at this point. Now that we're talking about the mouth, we probably need to cover his presidential power. He is called the Biden Blast Mosasaurus after all. First, we bring in this adorable little mini Dilophosaurus that's been molded out of some green rubber and has some splotchy paint applications. This guy comes with a set, but really any small minifigure will do, such as these Jurassic World minis or even a real minifigure like this Dennis Nedry. Pick the wee trinket of your choice, stuff it in his gullet, and by pressing this button on the top of his tail, he'll projectile vomit them forward with some force. This is cute, but a little ineffective. It just doesn't really have enough force to send him that far. Nothing anywhere near as impressive as the D-Rex punting someone through the air. No, this is more of a feeble wretch. Still, I'm rather okay with it because it's still fun and nowhere near as obtrusive a gimmick as the ones on the Tail Thrasher Spinosaurus or the D-Rex. Both of those are hampered by how much of them is tied into the gimmick, but thankfully, the Mosa retains much of its functionality whether you're doing the Biden Blast or not. The other gimmick that's pretty fun is the swimming motion. Holding him gently by his midsection and rocking the tail back and forth will cause the front half of his body to sway back and forth in a snake-like manner, making it look like he's swimming. This is a seamless gimmick for a big aquatic toy, and the lack of any sounds and accompanying electronics means that this big fishy is perfect for playtime in the pool or lake. I love that because this easily would have been a childhood favorite of mine. It would have gone with me every time I went swimming in the neighborhood pool. Right here is my childhood Toys R Us Animal Planet Liopleurodon. This was the toy that went with me to the pool every summer, and I'm glad to say these two look really great together. Not to mention all the other Mosasaurs and Plesiosaurs I have. Size comparison time. From the tip of his tail to the end of his snout, he's just around 24 inches or 2 feet long, and height-wise, with him laying on his big ol' belly, around 4.5 inches tall. Here he is with his son, the Jurassic World Rebirth Tail Thrasher Spinosaurus. Obviously, the scale here is pretty darn off because in the film the Spinos are dwarfed by the Mosa. But if we were doing fully accurate scale, I don't think the Mosa would fit in my bedroom. Brief sidebar, it's insane that the official scale chart puts the Mosasaurus at just 100 feet long. In the movie, it's clearly much larger than the Essex, which is in itself at least 100 feet long. I don't know what they smoking over there at Universal. Makes them forget numbers, apparently. Me, personally, I'm fine with this. You know me, I love my paleo accuracy. The smaller size of this toy makes it feel much closer to the real Mosasaurus size. Here he is with his fellow Rebirth alumni, the Distortus Rex. Here he is with a recent review, the Mattel Rebirth Wild Roar Utah Raptor. Here's Mosa with my last review, the Hammond Collection Buck T-Rex. And one last one, some basic Legacy Collection human figures. I can show you the world. Shining, shattering, shimmy, tell me shimress. Like I just explained, the size makes sense to me personally, and even more from a play perspective. If you want a bigger one, there's the super colossal version, but if you simply want a good looking Mosasaurus that can pose, this is way better. Uh-oh, I said the word. Let's get it going, it's gonna be really fast though. As I mentioned, there's the opening jaws, which are linked to the play feature. If you want them open for display, a toothpick stuffed in the gums is easy enough. Each flipper can rotate on these really powerful ratchet joints and bend out and in. Then there's the midsection joint, which is tied to the gimmick, but it'll still hold a pose if you move it around, same with the tail. They are connected, however, so if you move one, the other will move as well. Last is the tail tip, which can swivel, a little loosely, to whatever spot you want. Listing it all out like that, it doesn't really sound like there's much posability, but compared to the previous real feel Mosa, this is like SH Figure Arts levels of movement. That thing was a brick. I'm just so happy with this toy. Mattel really knocked it out of the Jurassic Park, or should I say world, on this one, and it makes sense. Mosasaurus was the best part of the movie, and pretty much the breakout star of the new Jurassic World movies. Definitely the most exciting part, and just a big, cute, silly goober, and possibly father figure to all the Spinosauri. I'm really glad Mattel went all the way making this one as good as it is, because honestly, it's the figure out of the line that I wanted to be the best, and it ended up being the best. It also ended up being pretty cheap. I guess Mattel made a boatload of these. Get it? And there's plenty to go around. So for a while now, they've all been discounted from $43 to $35, which is how much I got mine for. On top of that, I had a gift card that covered this, so basically, I got it for free. Get one if you can. Absolute recommend from Gary the Gremlin. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This was certainly a nice palate cleanser after last week's review. That one made me want to lie down in a ditch and die. This bubbly Mosa is a fun change of pace. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This video was voted on by my subscribers. Make sure to subscribe yourself so you don't miss any future polls. Hey, and if you're able to, consider becoming a channel member. There's all sorts of cool perks, and probably the best one is being able to watch all my videos early. I'm really thankful for my channel members, and the number of them seems to be always growing. They make it easier for me to afford making so many of these videos a month, and I'm so thankful for you. Alright, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Gary the Gremlin, out.